Although the best way to create styles for the table is to create new styles for the TH, TD, and any other related styles. If you want to do something like add a background image, you can still use the Modify Page Properties option. It's just a really handy shortcut. Browse, find that chocolate game background, click OK again, and the background comes into place. So that step is pretty standard. If you prefer, you could just edit the body tag, and as you'll see here, add that property to the body tag. But if you use the page properties, Dreamweaver will create that for you. So you could continue filling in your content. By the way, you can edit tables by just right-clicking, choose Table, and here you see a number of table editing options to insert a row, insert a column, delete a row or column. You can even change row span and use what's called Expanded Tables mode. You'll find this also in the Insert Layout panel. But expanded mode is really just designed to make it easier to select inside tables. As it says here in this dialog, that's not actually the way a browser will display it. It's just kind of an expanded mode because sometimes when you're working with very detailed tables, it can be hard to select inside them. So as I mentioned, you can also find this in the layout option. If you scroll down, you'll see the table tags. Insert row above and below, columns, and here is standard and expanded to easily move back and forth. So that's a little bit about editing a table that you've created for tabular data. But let's close this and go back to this page and look at how you would edit a table that's been used to create a layout like this and probably has a number of extra pieces of code and problems in the way the code was designed. Let's come up here to the top of the page and click on Split Screen so that we can see the code that's going on behind the page. And I want to bring your attention to this text here. So let me just scroll up so you can see this text very close to the code that goes with it. Now, if you've been designing web pages for a long time, or if you've inherited a website that somebody else designed a while ago, you're quite likely to see code that looks like this. This is the font tag. And you see the font face, font size, and font color are each listed every time this text appears on the page. So if I want to change the color of this text, or if I want to change the size of this text, even though it's styled exactly the same way in all four of these sections, I'm going to have to manually go in and change that in every instance. Much less efficient than CSS, and much more code heavy. Simply meaning there's more code on this page than necessary, which is going to slow down browsers, slow down search engines, and anything else that might come across this page. So I strongly recommend that even if you don't have time to completely redo the layout that might be created with the tables, that you try to go in and do a little cleanup on the code. And here are a couple of tips about how to do that. First of all, like many things in Dreamweaver, there are many ways to do this. So the simplest way, while you're looking at the code, might seem to be just go in and delete the code. But make sure, if you manually delete the code like this, that you get the close tag as well as the open tag. You don't want to leave a random close tag, or there are a number of web browsers out there, especially older versions of web browsers, that will give you some trouble in the display of your page. So if you're going to delete the first part this way, you want to delete the last part this way. Now when I click back here, or I hit that refresh button in the property inspector, you can see that code's been removed. But let me show you another way you can do this. If you click inside here, notice that in the tag selector at the bottom of the workspace, that font tag is displayed. And if I right-click on it and choose Remove Tag, Dreamweaver automatically takes all of that opening tag and the close tag and gets rid of it for me. Similarly, I can do that here, right-click, remove tag. It leaves the text, it just gets rid of the tag that was around the text. Now let's look at this. What do we have here? Once again, the font tag. We know we can get rid of that by right-clicking, remove tag. But I also have the strong tag here. And I also have the strong tag here, and probably in some other places as well. Now, remember, you can always right-click on elements like this and bring up dialogues to reassign styles. Like this is where you can find some options about font and change the font even within that font face. But again, I would recommend that you simply remove the font tag and then remove the strong tag, because all the strong tag is doing is making that text bold. And we can do that with a single style that takes care of all of that at once. When you have a page like this that has multiple uses of the same tag, like that strong tag, I'm going to remove the font tag this way. But I'm going to leave those strong tags in all three instances so that I can show you how to use search and replace to get rid of them all at once. So let's go in. It really doesn't matter where your cursor is on the page, but you want to choose Edit, Find and Replace. And now notice the Find and Replace dialog in Dreamweaver has a number of features. This is a much more complex Find and Replace dialog than you would find in most programs. But if you notice here, you can find and replace in the current document, or you can actually find and replace across an entire folder or an entire local site. You can even limit it to just the selected text you're looking at. So I'm going to limit this to the current document. You can also specify whether you want to search through the source code or the text on the page, or even some more advanced features. But what I'm going to do right now is search the source code for that strong tag. So I want to get the strong tag here, and I can use copy and paste to do this, so I know I've gotten exactly the right tag. And what I'm going to replace that with? Nothing, because what I want to do is remove it. So watch what happens when I say replace all. Dreamweaver has taken all three of those instances of the strong tag out, and it's very nicely given me this little report at the bottom of the screen so that I know what Dreamweaver's done. Now don't forget, if you remove an open tag, you always need to remove the close tag. So let's copy the close strong tag, again go up to Edit, Find and Replace. Of course you can use Control F if you prefer. This time I'm going to replace, and I'm just pasting it in here because I copied it, the close strong tag, indicated by that /, and again I'm going to replace it with nothing. Replace all, and it should be replaced 3 times, just like the open tag was replaced 3 times. Close that down, refresh the screen. I can close up Design View now, and you see my text no longer has all that extra formatting.